1 minute late. 2 minutes late. All right, folks, welcome to another stream. It's streaming time. Last 2 weeks was premieres. Seems to be working now, but I need to enlarge the font a little bit. All right, let's see if someone pops in. I should start by saying it properly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday. I'm Stefan Persson, also known as Imphenzia, and today we're doing a live stream again. So it's not going to be the 24-hour one. I've done 2 of those before. Those of you who know, you know. Well, let's see. So, all right, Mia is the first to wave. Hello, Mia PC. Or should I just say Mia? Good to see you. Nice wave. Hey, your character on the wave icon has got the same top as me. Welcome, Manny, Big Croco. And my vision's failing now. So, Ghosty Fab, welcome. CNM, whoa, it's live, it's live. Magic, hello. Seba, Off the Rails. Everyone, good evening. It's evening here too, so. Pino, hello. I'm going to stop saying the name in a minute because I'm going to get overwhelmed. Hello, bro. Okay. I wish I'd know how to pronounce it. Greetings from Afghanistan. Hello from Sweden back. Snowing here, cold, minus, what, 3 or something? And we've got Bertie Blob, welcome. Vincent, hello. Welcome, everyone. Gisela. Hope you're all having a good week so far. A new year. I hope you're having a good year. Let's make it a good one. All right. Hello, Andreas Brillen. Obel, hello. Hi, Imphenzia. Hi, Obel. So Obel is a trusty old admin from the Discord, a hero in that way. So thanks a lot. So lots of big fan from India. Hello, thanks, welcome. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sujal, Sual. I can't say it. I'm not even going to try. All right, let's have a look. Oh, Jamaica as well. Warmer there than here, probably, Andre. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, we got CNM China. The whole globe is pretty much covered now. Alex Rack2 Dev, loving these new videos. Well, thanks. I've done a few, what's it called? Unity ones now, and it's been a random mix. I've done some, as you've seen, it's been some video podcast, it's been some tutorial-styled things, live streams, so I still haven't fully settled on what's going to happen, but I think for now I'm just going to make sure that I connect, at least, even if it's a live stream, a bit of a live stream. Bit of a surprise every Thursday, maybe, to what's to happen. Oh, howdy from Texas. I want to go to Texas, DD. So, I want to go to... I could live there for a while, probably. Hi from Australia. Nice place, too. Belgium. Nice. Everyone. Woohoo! Germany. Love going there, too. Very good videos. Thanks. So, everyone's dropping in. We've got cafe. I always, when I see Cafe-Novich, I always think about coffee, and I didn't bring one, though. Kinetic. Minus 39 where you live. Oh, yeah, you're in British Columbia, right? Minus 39. Are we talking... That's pretty much the same, isn't it? Fahrenheit and Celsius. That's where they converge, isn't it? Isn't it minus 32 is the same in both Fahrenheits and stuff? Can you create low poly characters with fingers? It would be helpful. I'll use fingers while I create them, but I don't think that's... I always end up using palms because... Well, for that reason that you're just saying. It would be very helpful. I don't really often model hands, unfortunately. That would be useful. Oh, I pronounced 90% right. That's 90% more than I thought. Thanks. I wish I could ask you how to pronounce it. Celsius. 42. I've been to minus 38, so you're beating me by 1 degree. I remember in minus 38 degrees, I remember my nostrils froze, and I remember feeling I actually liked it. But when I went out in the snow, it was super cold, and it just my eyebrows froze. I remember, and I liked it. Weirdly enough. All right, everyone. Concurrent viewer. We've got 66 people in. And this time I don't have to leave due to a family emergency halfway through, hopefully. And if I do, the live stream will end. So it should be all right. California, Grindel as well. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So since more people have dropped in, hello, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday. And do you know what? I might even drop in another 10-minute modeling video at some point, just because I miss the old days a little bit. So be prepared. That might happen someday. And Mia as well, specifically, or anyone, I've actually looked a little bit more at getting started with Unreal Engine. So here's the score a little bit about that. I'll talk a few minutes about what I'm thinking. I'm going to turn on the music. So I've been thinking a little bit about Unity especially, and we're creating Line War in Unity, and I love Unity. I've used it for so many years, like, I don't know, 10 years probably, and I really like Unity. It's a perfect program, great for everyone who's starting out, super easy to get started, very flexible, cool platform support, lots of things to do, and a huge community, really, really good that way. And then I've looked at a few things. I wanted to create fracturing objects in Unity, and that's not really supported by default. And the way I've always done it is that I've taken an object in Blender, and then I've fractured it and seen what happens, and then I bring it in as separate objects in Unity. That's how I do in Line War too, when something breaks, for example. And then I have a script that explodes it in there, and it separates all the parts on impact. And I wanted to look at it a little bit better this time, and I thought, I want things to stick together a little bit, and as I shoot something, I want that part of it to crumble down. So I found some third-party stuff on, I think it's on GitHub somewhere. I can look it up at some point. And then I had to play with it, and you fracture the model in real time using NVIDIA's library. Pretty cool, and it connects everything with fixed joints, also pretty cool, and it seemed to work pretty good. So then I thought it's a little bit non-performant. So when I tried creating like 10 houses or 100 houses, I should probably load that project in a minute if anyone's interested. So I started to fracturing a lot of houses, and then I realized that it's not really as performant as I'd liked it to be. And then I started to look at DOTS and ECS again. So DOTS is the data-oriented technology stack, and ECS is the entity component system. And for anyone who's been following Unity the past few years, it's been a little bit of a mayhem, hectic time, to say the least. So they've created so many different render pipelines. We've got DOTS, the ECS stuff, and is it out, is it not, is it in preview, can you get it, can you not? It's been like that for the past 3 or 4 years. But since it was a year and a half ago since I looked at the data-oriented technology stack and ECS and jobs, systems, and everything like that, I thought, surely it must be out now. So I spent 2 days learning it a little bit through YouTube videos, and I looked, well, I didn't learn it by testing it out. I actually looked at YouTube videos so I could wrap my head around it again. And then I realized the performance is there, and it's going to be really good. So the whole entity component system, the game objects sort of disappear if you need the performance. Everything lives in memory structures, and I thought it sounds like it would be really performant. And some of the tests that I looked at, everyone is rotating like millions of cubes, and that was really performant. And it went from like 15,000 to 150,000 rotating animated entities. I thought, great. So now I'm going to test it out. So I installed the latest version of Unity, still 2021, not the beta 2022. And I thought, I'm going to install the DOTS pack again and see if I've learned anything. And then I couldn't find it. And then I thought, okay, I have to enable preview packages because that's what you have to do to see them. And I still couldn't see it. So I was wondering what is going on. And then I had to Google it because I couldn't find it in the preview packages. And then it turns out that Unity has taken it off. You cannot install DOTS anymore in Unity 2021, or ECS for that matter. They've taken it off. It's not even possible. And it's because it's not even compatible. So that shocked me a little bit. You have to use Unity 2020 to use the preview version of DOTS. And then apparently it's been silent for a whole year. No news, so the community has been a bit frustrated, to say the least. And then, only a few weeks ago, someone made an announcement. I don't know if it was some CTO, technical officer type of person. I should have looked that up, probably. A bit lazy for that. But someone wrote a lengthy post about the status and reassuring everyone that they haven't stopped working on it, but they've pulled it off because it was, I don't know, I guess they got a little bit cold feet, but they're working on it, and they will release version 0.5, maybe, in the first quarter of 2022. And it won't be compatible with Unity 2021. And that scared me a little bit. And then I thought, when is it even going to go in public? If we wanted to convert to this with Line War, then it's going to be a very long time, and probably 2023 or 2024 or something. So that made me look at Unreal Engine a little bit, because I thought, that's weird. I need the performance of the fracturing, and I thought, I wonder how you would even fracture something in Unreal. Is that supported, or how do you go about? And then I realized that it's actually built in their Chaos engine. And you've got loads of fracture models, and it's built in with force fields, and you can fracture segments of buildings or characters. And, well, I was super impressed by the performance that I saw and everything. So I'm going to at some point unpack. I've got a separate PC that I'm going to set up here. I'm going to start fresh and I'm going to learn myself a little bit of Unreal Engine 5. So I'm going to install that one with the early access and have a little go. So I'm looking forward to that. I won't stop using Unity. I love it too much because I'm doing line wear in it, and I'll be making the tutorials and stuff. But I want to start learning the blueprint system, and I will look at a little bit of C++ so I can at least get the basics. I mean, all the basic syntax of if statements and loops and structs and the classes of that sense, I'll be able to work out, but it's a lot more unforgiving to work in C++. So I'm going to have a look at that. So since I haven't installed it yet, I wanted to make like a video where I start it for the first time and have a look at Unreal Engine. For what I've seen so far, I've been really impressed by the performance. So let's have a look. I'm going to look at the video. A lot of ranting there going on. I'm going to check the chat a little bit here now. So we've got... sorry I'm late, Stephen Thomas. You're welcome. I hope you've had a good start to the new year. Okay, so Alex... Rack2 Dev says load it. Okay, let's load it up. I'll show you what I did in for that test project that I made. If it even builds, actually, I'll check it out. Let's see, physics sample, whether it even save it as. Okay, I think it was this one. Unity physics samples. I'll see if it was this one. Meanwhile, I'll check here as well. I'll see if it even loads. I probably promised a little bit too much because I was doing so much testing with switching the different things. A question there for anyone who's using Unreal Engine. Do they split the differences between render pipelines, and can you switch between the equivalents of the Unity's URP and HDRP and basic pipeline? Off the rails. I love the chaos physics. Just learned it myself, but can't wait playing with it properly. Yeah, I was impressed by it so far. Unboxing Unreal Engine. Exactly, Jules. That's what I want to do. And it would be funny to create something in Unreal, just a very basic platform or something, as a learning project for me. I also found out something very interesting. I don't know if it's true or not, so don't quote me on this. But from what I understand, I think Epic have got 250 people working on the Unreal Engine, and I believe Unity has got over 2,500 or 3,000 or something. And that might explain why it's so scattered into different things. I'm very surprised at so many things in preview and testing. Okay, Mia PC. Yes, it's a single render type. That sounds wonderful, because I don't really want to have to be faced with a decision to switch between those first. Or like pick a render pipeline, because that is a headache too. We don't actually know what would be the best way to go for line war in terms of picking a render pipeline in the future. The performance of the URP with the cross-platform ability and the ease of work to use, but with the restrictions because we can't use everything that the built-in pipeline can, or the HDRP, which is so complicated. So no different pipelines in Unreal Engine, just different game modes. That's good. I don't know what that and that's another thing. I think Unity seems to be replicating the ideas that Unreal Engine is using with having some sample projects. But I haven't tested the Unreal sample projects yet. But from what I understand, they seem to be. I saw that there was a top-down, a platformer, third-person shooter, car template. And if those work as advertised when I saw them, that would be super cool. And I think that's where Unity might have gotten their ideas from to create sample projects. Unfortunately, the sample projects are not as easy to get your hands by in Unity. So Araba, are you going to Are you going to model low poly animals? Is there any plan like that in the future? Thanks for amazing videos, by the way. Well, I've done very low poly, nearly Minecraft style animals, 10 of those in one video. So I don't know if that's good enough or if you want. And I've done a dragon. I've done a, what's it called? Lynx, the like a cat-like animal. I've done a triceratops and a unicorn. That's a little bit like a horse. So if you check my video history, you might find a few that could help you along the way. Yeah, pardon me. I've loaded the fracturing project, but I don't think it works. Let's see. Because I was switching between different models of Unity, so it won't run probably. I'll check it. I'm not sharing anything on the screen just yet, but... All right, so the sample projects are playable. Ready settings. You can press play as soon as the sample project loads in and play move. Delete what you don't need. Cool. All right, so Fuvakami. Hello, this is my first time watching. Cool, welcome. This I don't do many live streams, so, but I've done many live stream hours. Thanks, Arvid. Nice to see you too. It was episode 39. That's right. Okay, that physics project didn't load because I had apparently messed around a little bit too much with it into different Unity versions, so surprise. But I will, should I still load it? See if I can revert it, because I did zip it as well. Maybe I should spend the time, since we're talking about it. Let's see, let's give it one attempt to see if it loads. So when I'm setting up a new PC now, like I wrote on Twitter, I'm actually going to try to keep it tidy, my structure. And I think there's a high chance of failure, but at least I've got a plan to do it. So that's pretty good. So shatter test it was called. Let's unpack this one. My PC's got some issues actually at the moment. It's so I'm actually excited to install the new one. This one, for some reason, it's everything to do with the Unity's, not Unity, I'm blaming everything on that now, but everything that's to do with the Explorer. When I navigate in my PC, if I try to search something, I think it's the search that's corrupt, the Cortana thing in Windows 10. So I'm going to upgrade to Windows 11 now and see on a fresh install and see how that goes. Well, everything, I always like a fresh install. When I was younger, I used to do that like twice a year. I reinstalled Windows. I don't really reinstall Windows at all now. It takes too much time, and I've got way too many VST instruments and stuff. It's especially the music programs. That's a big pain. A new game asset tutorial to build a simple animated character in Blender to 3.0 with the right. Didn't you see that? I did that 2 weeks ago, Big Croco, because I did a low poly character that I rigged, and then I brought it from Blender 3.0 into Unity 2022. So Andy even walked around. So check that video out. It might be in the live stream history if you can't see it. Will you ever make a tutorial on how to render nicely in Blender with your materials methods such? Yeah, I should do maybe that. If you check my videos, especially maybe from the Cyberpunk room and onwards, they have quite a bit of rendering. I've done mostly in Eve, so I'm excited. I've installed finally Blender 3.0, so I'm going to enjoy looking at the new cycles rendering. Okay, it's unpacking my project now, so we'll see how it goes. For this video, instead of just chatting all the time, which I shouldn't do, but I'm gonna do, for those people who've joined this channel in thought that I've been doing Blender stuff, because that's what I used to do a lot, and I've done Unity for the past month, so I'm gonna do a little from scratch, maybe just totally fresh, starting up a brand new install, more or less, of Blender 3.0, and just get started with the palettes and get you started with your low poly modeling. So I'll, while this is unpacking, I think I'll do that just to save just the boredom of waiting for something to unpack. It seems to take forever. So let's switch over to share my screen. Woohoo! There it is. Have you ever read the Mistborn series by Brandon? Nope, I haven't. Sorry. I don't read much. I wish I did. Can you make a low poly character use a blueprint? Oh yeah. Okay, so the blueprint in Unreal Engine, I'm guessing that you mean. That would be my method to learn anyway. So if I create a character, I'm going to bring it into Unity and make sure it works there. I'm going to see how the differences are when you export it with the armature and everything and the animations and bring that into Unreal Engine. So excited. Right next to me here is a big box. So it came here a couple of days ago. So I'm really excited to set that up and get started. I don't necessarily need a new machine to install Unreal Engine. It's just nice to do it on a fresh one. So I start clean on the new year here. So start Blender. So about Blender, I think I'm happy so far with Blender. I haven't noticed that much differences, unfortunately, because I use it for so basic stuff. I know people are saying a lot about the asset browser, and that one I think I will use a lot in the end. Okay. So new people popping in. We've got Jens and Astoria. Astoria. JSEC, welcome. No, I'm not switching. David Rubel, I'm not switching to Unreal Engine, but I want to learn Unreal Engine 2. So, well, 5. I want to learn Unreal Engine 5, 2. Not 5.2. I want to learn it as well. Better word. Hello, everyone, and welcome. That project actually ended up unpacking, so let's try to start this one too. Let's get the hub and add another project from disk. Shatter test. Add project. Nope. Mia PC, are you doing everything in Blueprints, or are you doing the C++ as well? Why do I pause? I need to think and pause. Think and talk at the same time to improve on that front. All right, I'm going to try to start that Shutter project that I was telling you about. I'm doing a lot of kit bashing stuff in Blender, so I think the asset browser is going to be pretty handy in that way. So Karam, yeah, the stream will be there forever as far as I'm concerned. So welcome to come back and watch it at any time. Would you ever consider doing multiplayer? Are you chatting to someone else, or are you talking to me, Alex? So we're doing multiplayer, of course, for Line War in Unity. And for anyone who wants to create a new game and launch it on Steam, I would probably recommend waiting with multiplayer. And I've learned so many things when it comes to Line War. And matchmaking and getting people to... But if it's a multiplayer-only game, I think you could have some serious issues with testing and stuff. So it might be good to start with a basic game first, single player, and then do multiplayer. Oh yeah, multiplayer tutorials. Yeah, at some point. When we're using Unity 2018, unfortunately, for Line War, mainly because of the multiplayer code being worked on for so long in the preview mode. So, but we have to, when we upgrade to Unity 2021 in the decently near future, because 2018 is out of support, but then we will migrate to a new network library, so I can do some coverage on that one. Let's see. Oh yeah, that seems to work. The project is running now, so I'll show you what I was testing out before. So, pardon the houses are very primitive and not so nice looking. Just wanted to show. And the aiming is not working so good, but here's what I was testing out. So, when you shoot something, it'll fracture buildings like this. And it's only running at 40 FPS there. And it's because the reason why it's so slow as well, it's because if you look in the scene view here, and we'll switch on gizmos, which they've changed a little bit the way they look here. But all of these are connected using, and if I click on one of these chunks here, they're connected with all these fixed joints. And that's what makes it possible to fracture a few of them. So if we look here again, run over here to this building maybe. And then shoot, it starts to fracture, and then it cripples those. So, and this is where I wanted more performance, and I started to look at ECS to get this converted. But the problem then is that the physics engine, if you want to use the DOTS physics engine, it's a separate physics engine. And then I looked at the Havoc physics engine, which also is supposed to be integrated into Unity, but again, preview when it doesn't work at the moment as far as I'm concerned, in especially with since it's built on dots and it's not running in Unity 2021. And I wasn't happy with its performance, and I wanted to do a simple fraction or fracture test in a platformer. So that's what I'm going to try when I attempt Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to model a little character, just do a basic platform style setup, and then I want to do the chaos physics engine and see if I can build in some fracturing on the tiles in a platform or something along those lines. So that was my idea anyway. And then I started to look at the nanite stuff, and that's what convinced me as well. When I start looking, if you want performance, I mean, it's incredible. I'd like to create a low poly scene that's huge, and then see how nanite performs with that one. Because if it can render like nearly 1 billion or trillion triangles, it should be pretty cool. No, that was the rifle and everything. I actually used code in this one from, let's see. I downloaded a sample project, so I haven't even written most of this code, by the way. So it's a fracture test. I converted the code, though, so it fractures it and creates a prefab out of it. The program is capable of doing the fracturing in runtime. These are not actually fractured inside of Unity, these fragments. They're not fractured in Blender. They're calculated on the fly. So, but it took a little bit too long, so I converted the script so it fractures them in, let's see. Fracture this is the script, and I wonder if I can see who wrote that. Did it come with a README or something? Okay, I'll put a link in the description for this one. Hope I remember if I promise that. But if you Google fractures, then you should probably find it. And it does that fracturing using the NVIDIA library. Okay. All right, with that said, so, what time is it? 30 minutes in. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brief little introduction to low poly modeling in Blender 3.0. I'm going to do maybe a proper tutorial to revisit my very popular Learn Low Poly modeling video. But if you're starting out for the first time and you want to start to learn a little bit more about getting started in Blender 3.0 with low poly modeling, I suggest you check out this channel, of course. But I've started a brand new empty version here, and the first thing you have to do in Blender is that you should always delete the camera and the light. No, you don't have to do that, but you're not allowed to delete the default cube. Well, you are, but let's not. So to get started with low poly modeling, I do a lot of stuff is very simple box modeling techniques. I don't do very much sculpting, and I get so many questions on the channel over the past couple of years how I set up my materials, and I always get probably on every video I have like 5 to 10 questions. How do you get the palette? Because there's no built-in palette in Blender. And to get that one, I usually go to the shading tab and I drag a texture into the default material here. And if you haven't created a texture before, I'd recommend, if you don't have something like Photoshop or something, which you could definitely use, then I recommend going to a site like this, Pixel Art or something. This is free, and you can just click on Start Drawing, and then you type in, well, you skip the tutorial, and then you create the texture. I'm just going to create one with 4x4 pixels, so extremely small. This is really good for mobile if you want to do that. And then you just click in the pixel colors that you want. And if I click in black, let's click in a white one, and let's grab some colors. We have yellow, a green, another green. You can scroll down here as well to see what you want. Maybe you want some orange. Let's just do a few test colors and see what we end up with. Maybe brown if you're going to do some boxes or something. Crates. Let's do a crate in the test scene. Got some browns there. And you can create your custom colors too. So somewhere along the line, I don't even know where to do it, but you can do it. I usually use Photoshop to do these things, but you can definitely configure your own colors probably here. And just drag it to anywhere. Here, for example, brown. Let's make a darker brown too. Just thought about Doc now, Brown, Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Just before I started stream, I was watching Back to the Future Part 1 with my son. Probably one of the best movies all time. If you don't know what Back to the Future is, you have to check it. Doesn't keep up with the pace of new movies, but I like it a lot. because I prefer those types. Anyway, rambling on again as usual. So we've got a few colors there. Should I pick another one? Maybe we'll need some sort of a red, and maybe we need some sort of a blue. So when you've got yourself a texture, you can click on download, and we'll just save this one. Download PNG. And I'll save this one on my desktop just somewhere. Let's see. I'll call it palette. It's a bit off screen now. I've got a wide monitor in there. So. And once you've downloaded it, that little file, then you drag it in here. Now it should appear on screen here. And since we created, there's a reason why I only created it by 4x4 pixels. And there's a problem if you don't fix it straight away. And the reason is, let's see, if I drag this one in here, color to base color, and then we change up here on this little drop down, I'm going to change, or let's go to the UV editing tab instead. And then, oh yeah, they've changed this actually, haven't they? Did I start the right version? Yeah, there we go. So texture. See that it's all smudged now, and this is not how I created the texture at all. Let's see it in here as well. Why am I not seeing the same drop down here? Oh yeah, it's because it's in rendered or something. Solid. Texture. So it's all smudged now, and that's because you need to change this setting here, linear, to closest. Then it grabs it doesn't interpolate between the different colors then and gradients then. The only reason why you'd want a small texture like this is if you compile it, it's super fast for the graphics card to read from such a small area of a texture. The memory bandwidth is really, really low. And it's also good for mobile computers or not mobile computers, but mobile phones and stuff. But it's very important that you change this to closest there. And then when we're in the UV editing tab, as long as you've enabled this texture here, then you can see it right here. And if I zoom in now, we can see that it's actually spread out a number of different colors. To get this to work, so if you're going to start low poly modeling, look no further. This is how you start. And this is a very efficient way to colorize your models. And to change the colors now, this is unwrapped here with UV unwrapping. And I don't really use UV unwrapping like you do in a traditional way. When you UV unwrap things, then you usually unwrap it on a texture and then you paint things on it. I usually want to have the full vector styled graphics so I can get really detailed versions that you can zoom into infinitely without having a texture like going all grainy on you. And to do that, on the left side here in the UV editing tab, press A and then scale 0. So I pressed A to select all of them, scale, and then to 0, and then you can press G and move them here. And this is the most efficient way. And this is how you get the palette into Blender if you want to start low poly modeling. I usually work with, just one more note here, a lot of questions I get as well is how I get the shiny edges. And that's up here as well on this drop down. You enable something called cavity, and then I change this one to both, and then I slide these world space and the screen space all the way up, and that's how you get the shiny edges. And unfortunately, you don't really get this in a game. In the game, it looks more like Eve. So if I go to Z and go rendered, this is more, and then I have to add the light now actually, so I shouldn't have probably deleted it before. Let's add a sun here. So this is more what it looks like if you bring it into a game engine and you light it. So let's have a couple of lights here maybe. Okay. Okay, so I have to rotate it a little bit. So there. So this is more what it looked like in a game, but I like to model using this one and render it because you can render using the cavity settings if you switch it to the workbench render. So that's pretty useful. So, thank you very much for the big super chat. So Ilya Stepanovic, sorry, cannot say your name, but thank you very much. I appreciate the contribution. So one thing I think I've heard loads of times, but I haven't experienced it myself, but this way of low poly texturing, it's really good in Unity if you're going to bring your game objects into Unity. But I think I know that there's an issue when you bring it into Unreal Engine. So I'm going to learn that very shortly when I try it myself. But I think it might be a matter of not scaling it down to infinitely small size because it breaks the shadow texturing or shadow maps UVs. So I think you have to make them a little bit larger. So if you do need to revert them, you can select all of them, go to UV and just click on reset, for example. Then you get them back up to a bigger size and scale them down. So maybe that would work if I don't scale them down to 0. So this could work if you're going to do it for Unreal Engine, I think. And there's also possibilities to create a second set of UVs. So when you do the vertex groups or UV maps here, you can add another UV map, channel 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And Unity supports up to 8 UV maps these days, I think. They used to support only 2. So you can actually set the shadow stuff on a different one. Yeah. That's right, and I have to bring that, Mia, you did actually replicate it in with a custom shader. I still haven't managed to do that myself, even though I followed the tutorial document that you said. I didn't get the same result yet. But did you do that in Unreal or because I couldn't get it to work in Unity in the same way? All right. So I'm not going to do a full depth tutorial, of course, in here, but I put screencast keys on, and I'll do a few basic things just so if you're looking at this for the first time and you're thinking about, should I start low poly modeling in Blender? Get yourself 3.0, create yourself a palette, and get yourself a cube, and then just start playing around with it. And just a few of the basics I'll run past as well. Click A to select all of the verts. And a few, I don't have the top on me now, but there are a few very important commands, and I bet you everyone who's been watching this channel knows exactly what they are. It's E to extrude and S to scale. And E to extrude, when you have something selected, it's one of the best things ever. You can just click and extrude everything, and S scales it. So you can create pretty much everything with E to extrude and S to scale. In one of my episodes, I created a starship or a spaceship using only E to extrude and S to scale, or so I thought. Someone pointed out that I actually did use, I think, G for moving, and maybe I used I to inset once as well. And I'll forgive myself because I to inset is another very, very useful one. When you click A to select all the objects and you click I, and nothing happens now because it's trying to inset the whole cube, but if you click I again, you get individual insets, and this is one of the most useful things as well. And then if you do E to extrude here, you get a slightly weird behavior because I want to extrude all of them at once. So if I cancel that one, there is one more cheat there, and that's doing Alt E if you hold in, if you are on a PC, which I hope you are, because Max, yeah. No, only joking, they're good. I just don't know how to use them. But Alt E and do extrude long face normals, then you can actually do this magic at the same time. And there we basically have a crate already. And if I color this one brown anyway, like Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, and maybe we could select these. I hold the shift key and select a few of these and make them darker. There, and you've got yourself a nice wooden crate. So that's how easy it is to get started with low poly modeling. And from here, it's more or less those operations with a few more maybe exceptions if you want to go real fancy and real advanced. To go a little bit more fancy, like I said, instead of texture painting this one, I recommend, since there are so few triangles anyway, you can add some more geometry here, either using the techniques, the few ones that I just showed, or Control R is another very useful one that adds a loop cut, and you can use the mouse key or the mouse scroll wheel here. So if we wanted to create some planks here, we could do Control R, and then select these. I hold the Control key in when I select the range, Shift to select this one, Control, Shift, Control. And then we already learned I to inset, and since it's on individual, and then we did, instead of doing Alt E to extrude, which you could do, but that will look super strange like this, you can do Alt S, and that scales it uniformly as well. So by doing that, we already have a bunch of planks, and maybe we'll bring those into brightness again. So when you learn, and you'd have to do the same on top here as well, of course. So as you learn these things, and I'm planning to do a really thought through Blender 3.0 tutorial now on low poly blendering. And instead of doing it like the last one, it was over 2 hours long, I was going to create a bunch of sample objects instead, similar to this crate, maybe a basic tree and try to introduce all the techniques and everything that I learned since the last video, because there are really nifty commands that I've learned along the way to save yourself a lot of time with different selection methods and different ways to do it. So I'll be doing that. But hopefully this will get you a little head start. And I recommend everyone who's been thinking about getting started with Blender and low poly modeling, just do it. Start up Blender. Look at this one in the beginning again. Well, fast forward 30 minutes because I was talking loads of rubbish first. And then create yourself a little palette or download the ones that I've got in my description. I've got my Imphenzia palette that I use all the time. But I think it's more fun. Try to create your own one instead. And then drag it in and get started. And you'll be able to create really cool stuff. My recommendation there as well, start with a really simple object. Don't do like tag. Oh no, I should have picked something I can say. Don't do something super complicated. Start with super simple complicated objects. That's a bad one too. Start with super simple objects like a hamburger, a chair, a table, a computer monitor or something, and then repeat them over and over again, and you'll learn along the way to do some crazy stuff. So let's see. I'm going to check out the chat here. You are the reason I started with Blender. Thanks, Anshuman. I wish there was I feel sorry for imagine people in live T with millions of viewers and then they have to pronounce someone's name. It's like that video where about the plane wreck where they something wrong and oh no or something. Let's see. So Hamburger. Yeah, Hamburger is pretty simple. Let's do one as an example. You don't have to do a high poly hamburger. You do Shift A. Let's add a cube. So let's pretend we started with this on A to select all of them, to scale it here, and we'll get this as a bun color. And then I'll try to use only the techniques now that I've used before. So I'll enable this one. So to get started with the hamburger, I'd recommend doing a round instead of a square bread. So Control R, we learned a little bit. And then I didn't actually teach this one now, but scale is another very useful. Well, E to extrude, S to scale. So I did do that one. Scale. And then a trick then, instead of trying to scale it, is press Y, then it uniformly scales it on just the Y-axis there. Control R, scale, and then we press X and only scale. So that could be a simple burger bun bread. And here's one that I didn't explain, of course, so shame on me, but Shift D is also very useful, because when you you copy those faces though, you're still in the same object here, the cube object, but you separated these faces, and then we do E to extrude. So that could be the burger itself. We'll keep it super simple. L selects all the length, that's also useful. Scale it down, and then do dark. And then I can do L to select the link geometry here, Shift D to duplicate that one. And then we learn inset, so shift mark these, I to inset. But we have individual on now, we don't want that, so I'll do I again to get out of the individual mode. And then I to inset. And that's how simple you should probably make your first burger. And then you can start adding, when you get comfortable, you can start adding cheese. So Shift D to duplicate that one, E to extrude, L, select the length, and there's the cheese. And when you learn loop select like this, you alt click on an edge here. You can alt S to scale these out. Select these, I to inset, get the cheese hanging a little bit, L to select the length. Let's collapse it again. And you can add lettuce and maybe some stuff on the bun there. So keep it low poly in the beginning. You could always do Control 2 later on and get it super weird looking like that. Terrible. Miko, thank you very much for your kind super chat. And I missed another super chat. I'm so sorry. So thank you very much for your kind contribution. Very much appreciated. And Liz De Toro, thank you very much as well. Very thankful for your contributions. It helps me out a lot running this channel. And thanks for watching and for hanging out here as well. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through a little bit here. So a donut. Funny enough, I've never modeled myself a donut, which is a bit funny since I know there's probably the most common tutorial is about the donuts. So I should do that at some point. There you go. I'll scale it though. Alt S to scale it. Okay, so if you want to scale a donut, normally you'd scale it into like a massive ring or something. Just press Alt S instead. So we'll pick that material as well. A to select it. Now I'm going to get loads of screenshots saying that this donut isn't as good as all the tutorial donuts, but never mind. And if you don't want it that shiny, I like the low poly look like this, but you could change it to smooth faces. So there you go. There's a donut. Imphenzia's donut doesn't look as good as Blender Guru's, but it's quite low poly. Let's have a look. What about the barrel uploader set as well? Okay, let's try a barrel as well, and let's keep it as simple. We'll start from the same cube. So what type of barrel are we? I'm thinking of it like a wood barrel. Whiskey barrel from the Wild West or something. Let's try it. If you meant a metal barrel, let me know. Scale it down. So I'd probably start from, again, from a cube. I like starting from cube. You could add like what's it called? A cylinder instead, I guess. If you wanted to add geometry instead to create a cylinder, you'd click Shift A and add cylinder. So that's one way to do it, but it's probably just for convenience, but I like, when I do low poly stuff, I nearly always work from square faces and cubes. So if I wanted to make one quite fast, I'll probably do Control R to loop cut this one, Control R to loop cut this one. I'd hold Shift and Alt to select all of them, scale, and then I press Shift Z to scale on every angle except the height axis. And that's a shape. Oops. Alt Z. What did I do? I switched off. Let's do that again. Scale, Shift Z. And we drag this one up a bit. Control R to loop cut. Maybe put down there. Control R. Select them. Scale. Shift Z. Shift Z doesn't scale on the height axis then. Do that one too. Scale. And you do the inset here. You can do both at the same time. I know it's a little bit square now. I was a bit rushed when I did it. Yeah. So I to inset, Alt E to extrude. Okay, I should look at it. Alt E to extrude long face normals. And then it's still not too late to fix the roundness. I can still do that. So scale, Shift Z. There we go. And then if you wanted those little black belts, Control R to loop cut a couple of times. And then I use this all the time. Alt click on this one and Alt Shift click on this one. And then I'll probably just do Alt E to extrude it. And here's another useful one. Control plus grows the selection. Control minus shrinks it. Control plus grows it on the keypad. And then put like that one there. So that could be a simple way to create a barrel. And if you wanted to fill it with water. Whoa. There you go. So let's see if I missed. Oh, a lot of chatting going on here. Wood wine barrel. Well, I just fill it with water instead. Sorry about that. Let's get it. Oh, it was a CG Geek that did a 1 minute donut. I thought it was Blender Guru. Probably see. Let's see. How can I make low poly weapons? Okay, let's try that as well. I do that quite a lot for my characters these days. And again, I start, instead of, let's see, I'll hide this one too. Shift A, let's add a cube. When I do low poly weapons, let's see, sometimes I use auto mirror, but for low poly weapons, maybe most time I don't. Let's try it. If I were to make a rifle style thing, I don't really have any gray colors, but let's pick it that way. I usually start with a hand, like where the handle is. So grab this one, move it up, E to extrude, and then select the different faces, E to extrude, scale it, E to extrude, scale. I'll just do something really primitive now, but E to extrude. And then if I do a sci-fi rifle, I usually trick it out a little bit. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude. And usually, for some reason, sci-fi rifles always look bigger in the front here. So E to extrude, S to scale. Control R to loop cut, I usually do to get some features on it. Alt select those, I to inset, Alt S to scale, and then change the color. And then you could put rifles and like scope stuff up here. And instead of always extruding, you could consider doing Shift D to duplicate the face. And scale that one down. And E to extrude, S to scale. And again, this is of course low poly now, so E to extrude, and you could play around with whatever you want that one to look. And for the magazine, it usually goes here in the front somewhere, so I'd maybe move this one back a bit, E to extrude, Shift E to duplicate it, E to extrude for a magazine, and then Shift E to duplicate this one. Maybe I'll just put a little thing like this, and then I'd play around with it so it fits in the character's hand properly. Maybe I'll do a black handle instead. And add with some features and stuff. But usually for low poly weapons, they'll look good enough, I think, for using games. Scale, Z, E to extrude, black. And you could play around with different details and stuff. All right, let's have a look. Jesus can change the water into wine. Yeah. I can't do that. I could change it back to a wood barrel. What color does wine have? This is red wine, so there we go. Looks like blood now. Barrel of blood. Plus you probably wouldn't want it exposed like this, unless you want to drink it all at once. All right, let's have a look in the chat here. A duck. Green Duck Studio. Okay. Okay, a duck. All right, Shift A, duplicate. We'll start from a cube again. And I keep doing this, so I have to set the material every time. Scale it down. I'm going to give you a duck now. Check this out. And it's not going to be any duck either. It's going to be a rubber duck. E to extrude. S to scale. E to extrude. S to scale. I don't even know what they look like. E to extrude. S to scale. Rotate X. E to extrude, S to scale. And sometimes you don't always have to have it in the same, what's it called? In the same mesh, like I mentioned before. You can do Shift D to duplicate this face. And if you're in the world coordinates, you can press comma and do individual, no. You press, I always mix these two, comma and do normals instead. Then you can actually operate with the axes here. So if I do scale and X now, and scale and X, or scale and Z and scale and X, you can scale according to the normal size. And then you can have different colors and stuff to do it that way. And then you could put eyes on stuff. But I'm not even going to try now. No. They're snubbly. Thank you so much. Imphenzia should one day do a weighted companion cube. Weighted companion cube. You have to explain that a little bit more to me. What is a companion cube, first of all? I know what weighted is, if it's like vertex weighted. Tell me more. I'm super excited, super interested to find out what you mean. So thank you very much for your kind donation. They're snubbly. Snubbly? What does that mean in there sounds German, but I see that you're given Norwegian kroner, so I'm sure it's something in Norwegian. From the game Portal. Okay, I don't play enough games. Let's check out what that was. Weighted companion cube. Ah, okay. Wow. So from what I understand, this is what I was meant to have a look at sometime. Everyone seems to know so many things. How come everyone knew exactly what it was from? Portal to companion cube. This would take a little bit more testing out to do. It's a bevel on the edge. And then let's try it. Let's try it, see how far I get. I'm probably not going to grab that one all the way, but let's try it. Shift A, cube. Let's grab the material back. And I don't have the same colors, so let's just do it in a white for the beginning. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult to know what to start with maybe, but it seems to be, I'll do Control R first of all to get those cuts that they have. And it's a sphere in the middle. I'm going to do a low poly version of this one. So I'm going to try to probably get the sphere thing in here first. And that brings in another very useful thing. If I shift select these, Let's try it. So again, this is going to be a low poly version. I'll probably have to have a few go at trying to find what workflow would work the best for this one. But in Edit here, I have an add-on called Loop Tools. I recommend everyone who's doing low poly modeling to go into Preferences and go into Add-ons and then search for Loop Tools and enable this one. It comes with Blender by default, so just enable it. And you should also enable this one, Auto Mirror. Also very useful. But the good thing about this one is that you can press, when you've got faces selected, you can press circle, and it circles, it takes whatever geometry and brings it into a circle. Jim Arthur, I just started using Blender to learn new skills from the new year. Your tutorials made it super easy. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much too for the kind donation. Super chat. Very much appreciated. I'm happy that I'm able to help you out. So when I've done this one, the companion cube had bigger ones, so I'd have to enlarge it. But I see now that I'd run out of the angles there would be wrong for me. So I'm already running into issues now because those lines should be straighter, but we can try it anyway. And another thing that you'd have to decide here is maybe it's a lot of symmetry on this one, but it's symmetry on 6 sides, so you couldn't just use Auto Mirror and be happy about that one. I think it'd be quite tricky. Well, let's try. And another way to do it then would be to, let's see. It's trickier than I thought, actually. Because these are, I have to, comma, global. Thanks for this challenge. Comma, period, medium point, scale X. So you couldn't do that on all of them. So I'm thinking the best way would be to do one side of it and replicate it instead. So you'd probably focus on this side and stitch it together. So just to show, I probably won't finish anything here. It'll take me too long probably. So when you scale stuff, if you wanted to bring, here's another useful tip. If you want something to be perfectly in line, so this vertex, instead of just trying to eyeball it and get it to the same distance back, go up to here and click on vertex, snap to vertex. And then as you begin to slide it on this one, hold the control key and just bring it down to that vertex. And this way you can perfectly align everything like that. And I do that often when I model things, maybe not a companion cube. And you could click these both at the same time. Do it on the blue axis, hold the control key and snap it. I do this very much, so recommended. I'll just do one side instead of trying to do all of them at once. And I'm doing the low poly version, so I to inset again. And then it goes in actually, so mark these, control plus, control minus, bring that in. And here, I to inset that one, bring that in. So I know it's not going to look the same, but I'll do something similar now. Color that black instead. And then you had another thing here. I to, or E to extrude just to get slightly different. And it had a low poly, or not a low poly, I had a heart here. So you could repurpose this one, Shift D to duplicate it, scale it down. And then we could turn this into a heart shape. Maybe just bring that down. And these, select them, scale on the x-axis. So very low poly. You could Control R, and then we could bring those up. And these down. Shape it into, it doesn't look, well, it's low poly. This is the beauty thing about low poly. It doesn't really have to be that perfect. And it's supposed to be a different color, but never mind. Do it. Whatever. And then you'd have to work with the bevels. Now, when I'm looking at the picture, I'm seeing that it should have looked different. So I probably should have, could have done different here on these. And looking at, so I'm just going to show the picture again. Some of this, you might not want to keep it all in the same mesh. Sometimes it's better to do some of the parts as separate objects within the mesh. So instead of trying to get all of this perfectly aligned with all the geometry, at some point it might be better to make a duplicate, and I'll just do something like this, E to extrude it. So you don't try too much to get all the perfection when it comes to everything having to be in the same actual like linked mesh. So, but I'll stop there. I won't do anymore. It'll take me too long, I think. But it was a good challenge. I failed. It was so Barkin. Someone asked about the companion cube, and I got started, and then I failed. So let's check out the chat history. Oh, it's already been an hour. How can time go this fast? I've invented, like I said, I just watched Back to the Future, and I think I've invented a way to time travel. If you just stream, it seems to be fast forwarding. So. All right, let's see. I don't think I missed anything else here. Yeah, companion cube, surprisingly hard to model. Yeah, when you look at it, another example of something I found was difficult first is when I modeled a fall guy. In the beginning, I found it very difficult to get especially in a low poly model, but even when you subdivided it, to get a capsule with this, like the shapes that they had. But in the end, if you look at that video in my history, I found a way that worked really good. I tried loads of different things first with the bevel and carving and stuff. Nothing worked, and then I found a way so that the subdivision would still work. Really good. Worked. Draco, hello! Welcome. Nice to see you. So what color palette are you using here? The models you make here look awesome. So if you look at the beginning of the stream, it will be Mundo. It's going to be available in my history, because I actually went exactly from the start how to set up and create the palette. I just used a pixel art website, and I created a super low texture with 4x4 pixels and added the colors, and then dragged it in from my desktop after I downloaded it into this one called palette.png. I linked it up to base color, and since it's only 4x4 pixels, very important that you change this from linear to closest. Otherwise, if we look, yeah, let's bring something up here that we had different colors on. Can I bring it back into view, please? Why isn't delete working? There we go. And then I should have something with different colors on, which I don't. Anyway, if you have linear there, everything will look smudged. So change that to closest. All right, let's have a look. Car, truck, tank, construction truck. Yeah. Okay, last one that I'll model in the stream. And again, I've got the 10 cars in 10 minutes, so check that episode if you want. But if you want to create a low poly car, I'll do a very, very basic cartoony style one for this video. But check my history. I've got one with perfect topology, which wasn't perfect, but it was nearly perfect. It was only the center of the wheel that wasn't. But to model a car, scale 0. Let's make it just this color for now. To do low poly cars, I often do. Then we have to enable auto mirror, and that's the other very useful tool that you should bring in, the add-on. And then click on auto mirror, and now you only have to do one side of it. So if I resize something here, then it goes like that. And to model a car, let's see if I can even remember the perfect workflow for the wheel arches and stuff. If I bring it in, Control R, loop cut it a few times, and then you'd have to find out where the wheels are. See if I can even remember. So I'm doing a lot of extra loop cuts here so I can see where I want to add the wheel. So I'm going to try to remember. So I want maybe a front wheel here and a rear wheel back here. So I've already sliced my geometry now. And if I Control R, and if I mark these now that are outside, I found that something along this way was what was working best for me. And then you E to extrude this one. Let's see if I remember this now. Then you can bring this up, and then 8, select that it's too wide and too high. Here's another useful one. Hold the Control and the Shift key to diagonally select across, then it'll select, because if you hold the Shift key, then it selects individual. If you hold the Control key, it selects a range from here to here. But if you hold Control and Shift, it'll do like a fill thing like this. And I'll just do like a cartoony car here, so I'll bring these up or something. And I'm trying to think, did I do inset for that one? And if you do inset as well, and you have this auto mirror, if I do I for inset, then you can see that it creates a boundary here that you don't really want. And you can get rid of that one. If you do I to inset and then press B for boundary, then it fills in this automatically, and then you can raise these up without it being a boundary there. So you can play around with just creating some funny car. Like, I think I did these really square looking cars for that one. And this one looks more like a pickup now. Mini pickup. Let's do some funny, funky thing. I to inset, same thing here. So if it doesn't look like that, if you have this one, press B for boundary and then E to extrude. And here I can't extrude too far down because see how it shows the wheel arches there. So that's not so good. You'd have to probably do it in 2 separate ways. Let's see, E to extrude, and then I'll probably extrude this separately, E down, so you don't risk having, it's still a little bit too wide there, so scale X or something, so you don't get in. And then you could just do, if you do the wheel, that's probably best with a cylinder, so Shift A. You can, if you create Shift A and do a cylinder, it'll always create it where this little 3D cursor is. And there's a trick that I use a lot, and it's when you select a vertex, it's roughly here that I want it. Press Shift S and do cursor to selected. Then you get this one there, and then you press Shift A and we do a cylinder. And here's another important thing. The cylinder is so big now that it actually merged into the auto mirror. And you have to disable on this wrench tool here, you have to disable clipping, because clipping by default will make it stick together like glue. So if you do clipping off there and move it in, then you can separate it. But don't forget, I always forget to re-enable clipping, because it's very handy to have that one when you're working in the center of the car. Now we can do rotate, press Y 90 degrees, scale it down, scale it on the x-axis. And on the keypad, I press 3 to get the side view, scale it down. And then now this wheel turned out to be way too high poly for a low poly car like this, so that's no good. But just to see, and you can't really, you'd have to, when you create the cylinder, you just use less polygons instead. I to inset, E to extrude, S to scale it, and then create like a center thing there. And then for windows and stuff, you just do I to inset, E to extrude, same here, I to inset, E to extrude, and colorize these whichever way you want and add stuff. So and then you'd work, usually when I do the low poly cars as well, this one looks hideous of course, but I do a lot of Shift D to duplicate, scale X, put like little bumpers. For headlights you could do either you check out the perfect car topology, that's much better to look at, but for really low poly cars I'll probably just stick with square lights like that. E to extrude, move this in, color them like headlight color yellow or something. And for the grille, you do the same, scale. Shift D is very useful. You just duplicate the geometry and E to extrude it, and then colorize it same way. Blah, blah, blah. Tinted windows. There we go. So just work that way. All right, let's have a look. Also, do you have a video showing how to export to Unity or Unreal using your pre-existing palette? Yeah. Check 2 weeks ago or something, I did a character that I brought into Unity and animated it. So that one brings the palette. I always save just the PNG file separately. And when I bring it into Unity, I create a new material and I use the same texture because the UVs will match up. And then I create a dedicated Unreal or Unity material instead. So I recommend that. All right. So, Shuba, hello Imphenzia, what's up? Great, thanks. Hope you're having a good day, everyone. So I think we've already been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes. So I think, let's see one more. I wish you could make a realistic car. You are like an amazing teacher. Thanks. I've tried a few times to do a complete car, and I usually get to the point where I model maybe half the car or something, and then I'm like hours and hours into the project. And since I don't really have any use for the realistic cars, there's so many people that can do so much better than I do. So I don't think I should really create a tutorial on it, because it wouldn't look as good as those ones that are out there. But it is a complicated subject to do the realistic cars. In my Discord channel, there are a few guys that do cars, so maybe, I don't know if any of those have done tutorials on it. So, but unfortunately, I think for the time being, I'm only able to do low poly stuff, both tutorials. But I understand that you wished it. You didn't say that I should, but it would have been fun. All right, so we got loads of more. I should maybe do a similar stream where I just model stuff on requests. We had skull and security camera and stuff. Can you model a TV character from a TV show? Nice. We got some. Maybe I should do another similar video where I just do some random modeling based on requests. Oh yeah, Mixamo add-on. That's a very good question. The entertainment, because I actually ran into that very recently to do it, and I wonder if I did. Did I show that in my video there? There is a separate workflow slightly. The settings when you do the FBX export for Mixamo are slightly different than. And then also how they handle, they don't handle separate objects. So if you want to animate them with the weapons and stuff, you have to bring those in the same mesh. But that's a very good idea. I'm actually going to write that down. So, because I should really have something that covers like this. So character to, so Unity again, Mixamo, Unreal Engine, and Godot maybe. Godot. Godot. I'm never going to say that probably. Good day, Godot. Godot. I sound like a moron. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. Let's do it, because I'm going to install the 5. I'll start, since it's going to take me a while to learn, it'll be out of early access by the time I actually manage to release something. One thing I'd like to find a time for to someday, because someone asked me recently, have you, I think it was in the last video or 2 videos ago, have you actually released a game? And funny enough, I've only released one, no, I'm lying again. I've created one Android game called Parking Spaces that I was really happy with, and it was on the Play Store for a while. And then it got taken off because I needed to update the privacy policy. But that was a fully completed game, low poly, that I was happy about. And it was actually fun to play, I thought. I played it myself a few times. So I need to just update the privacy policy and re-upload that one. And then the other games that I did was quite long ago, even before Unity. I created stuff like Beatball 2, Netris, and a little car racing game that was released in half-finished state. And then I'm working on the Line War game now, which is going to be the first major big game that we've been working on for 3 years. So, well, 2.5. So that's going to be a big release. I'm excited. It's going to happen because it's a lot of time invested in it, and it's very playable. Play it a little bit too much myself. I love to play it, actually. So that's going to be released. But I'd like to get to a point where I can actually create games at a compact level, not overly scoped or anything, and then release them on Steam. I'm not able to do that at the moment because of the time constraints. I really don't have the time available at the moment. But it would be fun to, maybe I can park a few things and put them aside, and then actually release something that I could record a little bit. So, but no promises. A lot of wishful thinking here. Draco, hello, thanks. You don't have to worry about missing the first hour. Please restart. Thank you very much for your contribution. Appreciate the super chat. And there's a trick if you want me to start over. Right when I finish, just go back to the start and watch it again. Time travel visually wise. The parking game looked fun. Yeah, it was quite fun actually. I'll bring up this little video of it again. I don't even know what music is playing. It could be anything. Sometimes in my playlist I had sound effects of car alarms and everything. So I'm sorry if you're listening to some really strange stuff. Let's have a look. I'm not ignoring you now, even though I'm looking to the side. I've got a wide monitor, so this is at the very far range here that I'm looking away. So here's a little video of the parking spaces. It's the music as well. Created a soundtrack for it. It's a bit loud probably, sorry about that. I'll explain what it actually works with. I'll turn on the volume though. So I created this for Ludum Dare, the original version, and then I created a beefed up version, and every car comes with a timer how long it's going to park, and there are these parking spaces available. So when the timer goes to 0, that car will depart, and then you swipe just on your phone, you swipe to park them fast, and you move them sideways. So this one's only going to park for 5 seconds, so it's important that the car before it leaves beforehand. And you only have, the theme for Ludum Dare was running out of space, so you're literally running out of space when you park all of these, and you get extra points for, if you park these 3 next to each other that all had horse trailers, for example, or these 2 it was, because it was the same car, then you get a bonus. So you try to park cars here with the trailers and the same chassis next to each other. And if they collide, it's game over. And if you park a car in front here that is staying longer than the one behind, then you run out of time. And you could unlock extra cars like this low rider thing with the animation thing, car wash that came along. And then you could earn, I was learning the monetization a little bit here. This one doesn't fit anywhere, so you've planned it wrong. You shouldn't have parked them like that. And then you can reach the high score. So I actually got a little bit hooked as well, just sitting playing this. Then you had a level here with a tram in the middle. And low poly style, and this was before I started all my low poly modeling videos, so this was the early days. And you had here's a school bus. I thought that was a bit funny because my kids were making so much sound. I thought I'd make the school bus rock the whole time, because that's what it feels like when you're in the car with them. Then you could unlock. You could unlock different cars here, levels. Get some faster cars. Here's a ice cream van. And it was a bit tricky because you didn't know if you had to remember if you parked someone in the car wash. That's why that was a little bit of an extra challenge, because sometimes that was the only slot and you forgot, did I park something in there or not? And the ice cream one folds out the things. How did I create such a long video for this? Oh yeah, here's where you could unlock the different cars. I was learning the monetization things and adverts. I wouldn't do this again. I'd probably just release it and let people play it and have some random advertising. It's too much work. That was one lesson learned. It's so much work trying to integrate this unlock thing, and I don't think enough people bother, unless it's a very successful game, of course. But then it's the whole marketing problem. So that was it. Car Tetris, yeah, similar to that. So thanks, Imphenzia. This modeling thing, that's what I like to see more, but your channel is... so follow your heart. Oh yeah. It's it's game development and modeling, so those two, and not so much rendering, even though I've done a little bit of that. So, but I have to try to balance those two for everyone. Hi, I need help, please. How export object with texture and animation to Unity? So, check my history again. Sorry, I can't really show it now, but check my live stream history where I brought a character in. That one has a texture, but it's the colorized texture, but the animations carry on, and I create a simple state machine in that video too. So it's only 2-3 weeks ago, so see my history for that one. Yeah, you caught me live. I'm just probably rounding off soon, Blitzkrieg. So, but you did catch me live, actually. It's a Thursday as well, so if it's highly likely to catch me live on a Thursday. It's a premiere or a live thing, it depends. Okay, am I missing something else? So someone asked if it was downloadable. It's not at the moment, because I need to just re-update the privacy policy, and I was going to scrap the whole advert thing and just release it as a fun free game. Well, when time allows, I'll do it. Yeah, I'm guessing for a change I'm actually live. Surprise. Would you ever consider making games in Gda? Sounds like I'm skitting it. It's just, I don't know. Yes, I would definitely consider it. I need to learn it first and look at it. But I think what I like about it is that it's very lightweight and low footprint. So, but I haven't even looked at trying it yet. So I wouldn't even know whether is it mostly 2D, is it mostly 3D, or is it just as good for both? I'm not even sure about that. But I'd like to play around with it for some reason. You plan to make a crypto game, blockchain? I'm learning a lot about blockchain at the moment. I know there's a lot of hate in the industry about NFTs, and I think it's a little bit weird that it's like that. I see the point. I see there's a lot of scams going on and a lot of people stealing, unfortunately, artwork and selling it on the blockchain. That's totally wrong, of course. But I think it's weird to blame the whole blockchain for that and the NFTs. So I think there's a lot of future in NFTs and how they work, how the blockchain works. So in a few years, I think it's going to be a very important everyday feature that people will have to get used to. It's a bit similar to when the internet came along or something, and then you could argue that the internet brought a lot of crime with it or something, saying that the internet is bad because there's a lot of criminals out there. So it's the same thing going on in the blockchain technology right now. People are hating it a little bit too much, I think, because of the fact that there are opportunistic people out there trying to make money on it illegally. So if you look past that one and see what actually benefits come with it, I think for artists like myself and for anyone else who wants to create art and actually sell it like that, I don't really see why it would be a problem to do it that way. I think it's a great way to prove the ownership of items, and I really think it's an elegant technology. And the environmental argument doesn't really hold up so much either at the moment, because, I mean, there are some blockchains, of course, that are doing that one. Bitcoin and Ethereum are very heavy processing power, use way too much energy. But the newer blockchains that come, Solana, for example, they're doing it in an elegant way to distribute the load, and it's not proof of work. So it's basically, to do a transaction, it's hardly any computing power at all that's required. So I think that's sort of stuff that's becoming better and better, and problems are getting solved along the way. Yeah, karma, lol. NFTs, I'm out of here. See, there's a few. I understand that, and I think a lot of people in the game dev industry are hating on it. And it's funny to see my Twitter sometimes, because there's so much confusion and hate and stuff. But I think NFTs are going to lose steam, but who knows? Yeah, I think they'll shift shapes, and if you look, I should probably do a separate stream or a separate video about this whole topic, because there's it's a lot to talk about when it comes to that. I'll find a better place and time to do it. Can you make another video similar to your Flappy Bird video? So maybe I could do a very simple game in a stream or something, I think. So what I've realized, that time flies so fast, even when you make a simple game, because doing a Ludum Dare game from start to finish takes me about 35 hours, and that's without streaming it and without talking about it. So when you add the fact that you stream and talk and check the channel, the chat and stuff, it's very difficult to fit in that time frame, and you get a little bit sidetracked and you show different things. So usually when I do Ludum Dare, ask my family, I'm like in a weird zone where I'm just locked into some zone. It's funny, when I did a Ludum Dare once, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go out and eat with my family now. So we went for a nice meal, and then one, I don't know if it was I think it was my son, he looked at me and said, Papa in Swedish, and said, Dad, like, you're here, but it looks like you're somewhere else. Are you somewhere else? I'm like trying to solve some gaming issue. So usually I'm not like that, but when it comes to Ludum Dare, it's very much like that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I see there's just mentioning the word crypto and NFTs is stirring up a little bit in the comments here. So I'll tell you what, I'll dedicate a separate video on that topic, and those of you who want to watch it can watch it, and those of you who hate it or don't want to watch it, you can just skip that video then. But I recommend that you watch it anyway, because I think you'll benefit from it in the long run. With what version did you start using Blender? Ooh, I can't even remember. I think I was very late. It was like 260 something, because I only started not so long ago. So I was very late onto the Blender train, because I finally learned how to use the right-click mouse button, and then they switched it, luckily enough, to the left button. So that was good. Make a portal with old stones. I've got a dungeon video, if you check out my history there. Geonodes. What do you think about geonodes? When I tried them maybe 3 months ago or something, I think they're super cool in the fact that they're there. I love everything that's procedurally created and how you can generate stuff. but I didn't think that it had enough features when I looked at it. It was a lot about spawning objects and having those. So it's really cool to create interesting geometric shapes, or like you take a human or something and fill it with cool proceduralized skin with boxes or something that you carve in and out. It was good for that, but for the most part, I think it needs a lot more nodes and a lot more features to become useful, I think. All right. The right mouse button. Yeah, DJ Peterson, you nailed it. The right mouse button was literally the only reason I wouldn't give Blender a chance. And now that they've fixed it, I love Blender. And I relate fully to that. Because I tried 3 times to switch from, I think, I was messing around with 3ds Max back in the day, but I didn't do a lot of 3D modeling at all. But every time I tried Blender, I could not get used to the right clicking. And I know you could change it, and I changed the clicking to the left mouse button, but then it broke some other stuff. So when I looked at tutorials, stuff that I was supposed to do according to tutorials didn't work. But I finally got used to it after the 3rd attempt or something, and I got used to it, and I started to really like the low poly modeling flow. And then after that, it was once I learned it, roughly then they changed it to default in 2.8 to go left click. So yeah, I think they've done a revamp on the node system, so I know they've added some features. I should look at it again. Oh, Modo as well. I tried that. So Ian, you said about Modo. And I like that one too, but again, it takes a while to get used to, and you have to give all the applications a long enough chance. But I thought, if I remember correctly, the price for Modo was pretty good compared to 3ds Max, and also the workflow I liked, but I couldn't quite get used to it. And then finally, after trying so many times, Blender really started to gel, I think. I know, Arvid, that you could change it, and I did change the mouse button, but I ran into other issues back then because of the fact that I changed it. So even before when I made, but okay, so I'm just trying to catch up on the stream here. So it's been an hour and a half now. I'm going to try to keep this stream not too long, even it's easy to just get carried away. So I'm going to start rounding off there, but if you like the video, and if you would like me to do something similar when it comes to just random modeling, maybe I could do a separate Thursday where all I do is model stuff that people come up with and talk about the techniques again, if that was, maybe it's useful to a lot of people that are following me for the Blender stuff. So I did look at, jumping from here to a question, Cinema 4D or Maya. I wanted to learn Maya, but it was too expensive, and a lot of the courses was in Maya. And all the keyframing courses because that's something I'd really like to learn from professionals that are expert keyframers. But all of that is in Maya, so I didn't really want to spend the money to do it, especially when I knew Blender so good. And Cinema 4D, I've never really tried it as far as I can remember. I know it's quite popular for characters, especially, I think, isn't it? So, but I haven't tried it. Okay, is it expensive as well? Yeah. Do you think... one question before I finish the stream, because sometimes long videos, I think, it could be, I don't know if they're boring to follow or something, but are you okay with streams about an hour and a half length? Is it too long? Is it too short? Should I do 2 hours? Should I do 1 hour? Or is this format okay? Do I ramble on too much? What do you guys think? So Maya Photoshop. Out of reach financially. Yeah, I just calculated how too short Mia says. Okay. Yeah, it's not the 24-hour stream. Yes. Take your time. That's good, thanks. I have a tendency to say way too many things and not get anything said. Okay, 24-hour stream is welcome. All right. First time here, but I've enjoyed this duration. That's cool. So 24 hours. Well, if I can bring it up to 300k, maybe I'll do another 24-hour. It's funny, the further away I get from the 24-hour stream, the more I remember how great it was. So modeling, please, something every week. Yeah. Do a stream where you are learning Go.live. Go. Todd is suggesting that. I don't know if that would be good viewing. I'd be like, maybe it would be, because I do so many stupid things. And maybe it's actually a good thing to learn it that way. Because if I do something, I go, oh, how do you do this? This is so simple in Unity. And then I look over to the chat and it'll go, okay, thanks for the tip. Oh yeah, Arvid likes the 20 to 30 minutes, I understand. The good thing now is that you can go away, Arvid, and do your things that you need to do, and then you can come back, and I might still be rambling on, probably on the still topic that I was on before. One thing I've been considering is motion capture, actually. But has anyone got experience with motion capture? And if so, is it like a DIY solution, or have you done it with, has anyone tried one of those suits? Oh yeah, I could learn UE4 and it's UE. Maybe that's an idea, actually. Or a 12-hour stream, maybe. Maybe I'll save the 24-hour for the celebrations. But when I do unpack my PC, I set everything up, and I want to learn Unreal Engine 5. So when I've got the PC, what's it called? The early access version installed, maybe the first time I launch it, because then I've got an excuse to look terrible and be totally lost, and you guys can help me along the way. So I could do an Unreal Engine first time. Experienced Unity developer starts using Unreal Engine 5 for the very first time, a 12-hour stream. That'd be fun. Okay, so you try Kinect, yeah, I was looking, they don't even sell that one anymore, do they? Because I was looking at that for motion capture as well to see if it would be decent, good enough. I tried mocap, that killed my CPU. The problem when it comes to motion capture is most of the animations that I want to actually create, there's absolutely no way I could motion capture those anyway, because I don't really black flip that well. I can do Taekwondo, because I used to do martial arts a lot. So me and my wife did that. So I could probably stretch a little bit and get those kicks going again, and some spin kicks and stuff, but I couldn't do magic backflips and stuff. Seeing setups with, oh, VR base stations for motion capture. That's cool. Oh, sorry, Vitalalili. Yeah, it's just about to finish over. Love the rambling, yeah. You come to the right place then. Okay, so you're using the Xbox sensors, Ken, as well. That's the Kinect. No, what's it called? You said it before, Mia. Why do I say it? Never mind. Okay, Andreas, we witnessed this 24-hour for 300k, but I don't think it was a promise. I think it would be fun. Since it's slowing down the pace of the subs, I think a 300k stream would be roughly 2 years away then, so it's getting easier and easier. Yeah, I guess you can use a used Kinect. All right, so Justus Jonas, you think I should do the UE thing? Yeah, cool. Should schedule it then. I think the prices are coming down a little bit of the motion sensors they attach to the body. They're still pricey, but I think they're actually coming down and probably getting a better. I don't know if you can rent those things as well. So, Turkey Jerky, still learning Unity 3.5 plus years. When would I have time to learn for Godot Unreal? Yeah, time is that thing, isn't it? It's so difficult to fit it in. So, someone's laughing here. Faux Star Entertainment. I could probably, oh yeah, you quoted me. I could probably stretch and get those kicks going again, yeah. Well, I started some Taekwondo stuff with my kids again because they started to get interested. So in this room, actually, just before I set all the computers up, we had this as a little training area. And then I pulled my leg. So I should probably get started. No need for full bodysuits. No, probably not. Oh, they need base stations too, of course. Oh, I thought they were somehow just censored together or something. They need capturing sensors as well. So you need a good area too. That's good to know. Can you please suggest easy way to rigging? I've got quite a few videos in my history and very recent as well. Check those. I've done quite a lot of rigging videos, so check those out. I'm tempted to use the Rigify add-on because it's so nice to animate with that one, but I slightly more prefer a very simple rig for the low poly characters that are just the limbs, the spines, head, arms, legs, so I can have as few bones as possible when I animate and bring that into Unity. Okay, so full body suits without base station exist now. They cost, yeah, when I looked as well, they're in like the 2,000 to 3,000 range, like a graphics card. It's weird to say that these days. Oh, cool. Glad to help out with your degree. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good. Draco had a good idea with the lava monster. That actually contains the full rigging, because in some videos I fast forward, I think, but that one has the full rigging. And if you wanted to do the Rigify, you could look at the Pirate as well, that one. Why am I sharing my empty screen still? Should go full screen, shouldn't I? For the sign out here, I'll do. Woo! Sorry to scare you. Scared myself. All right. Okay, so it's been 1 hour and 37 minutes. I'm going to round off there, but I'm very likely will do another live stream video like this one next Thursday, unless I come up with something different. But it's high probability for that one. So if you want to catch a live stream, you might want to come back then. So, and then I'll consider all the stuff that we've talked about and create videos about the different things. So, hope you have a continued great Thursday, have a good Friday, have a nice weekend, and have a great start to the year. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, or if you like the stream, and consider subscribing as well if you haven't done so already. And I'm probably missing stuff in the chat that's like flickering right next to me. I'll be tempted to look at it, and I'll do it just in case. Let's see. Thanks. I'm too tempted to look. Next time with low poly modeling. Yeah, for real. Character modeling. Okay. Maybe Arvid. Maybe I should. You're all welcome. So thank you very much. And until next Thursday, take care. And I'll see you then. Bye for now. Oh, I have to click confirm. Your stream will stop immediately. I'll stop it right now. I'm still looking at the chat, even though it's grayed down. I'm looking at it. Stay safe. Thanks. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you. See you next week. Bye. Bye. Thanks for the link to my Patreon, Arvid. Appreciate it. Thanks, Andreas Brillen, as well. You're welcome for the screen. And thank you, everyone. I know I'm still here. I'm still looking. It's grayed out, so I hardly see the chat, but I'm still clinging onto it. I'm going to see. When it's been quiet for 3 seconds, I'm not going to say anything more. So, bye, everyone. And it's been quiet for 3 seconds. Oh, someone said thanks. All right. I'm really clicking on it now. Well, encore. Yeah. 3, 2, you're the best. Thanks. Well, I'd probably debate that, but keep it going. No downvotes. Oh, that's good. Arvid, have you not downvoted? That's good. Everyone, go, go, go. Have a good day. So people are saying bye now, so I have to say bye. I still haven't ate, actually, my meal, and I've got... check this out. I've got 3 cups of coffee here. 2 half full and 1 full, and the one that's full is cold. So, all right. Best low poly man in town. Thanks. Closing time. Yeah, it's getting very close to shutting down now. I'm staring. I've got my mouse hovering over the end stream button here now. The confirmation. I hope I'm not stopping anyone from doing anything important. So, quite a meal. I'm gonna go out for pizza. And then I'm going to go for a walk and think how I could make my videos shorter. Someone just got muted there. This is important, yeah. I've gone from long intros to not really having any intros, because the whole video is an intro, and then the outro is even longer. So, that's good. Just sleep, yeah. I think it's quieting down now. Good luck and have fun. Yeah, thanks. Are you kids watching upstairs? No, probably not. They used to watch it every now and then in the past, but I don't think they really watch it anymore. They got fed up with the 10-minute modeling challenge, and when I stopped with that one, they got even more fed up. So, all right. I shouldn't really keep people here, should I? So now I'm really considering pressing this end stream button here now. All right, 3, 2, 1. What's on your pizzas? I think it's a kebab pizza, actually. Thanks, Eric. Just do it, Imphenzia. Yeah, I know. I know, Arvid. You have to. No, you have to go first this time, Arvid. When I haven't seen a comment from you, I'll leave. I don't want. All right. Will this stream be available later? It's probably still going to be on later by this, judging by this. So I don't think it's actually going to not be available. It's just going to keep rolling. Oh, Aiden Randall, same name as my son. You just joined. Unfortunately, you're just catching the very end. You're catching a 10-minute outro. I'm trying to end the stream here. All right, that's it now. No, that's it now. Okay, Arvid, I'm going to go now. The live stream will stay. So what's the plan tonight? Yeah, I might set up the PC, actually. How much of a good artist do you need to be to do this? I like your videos, but you don't have to be a good artist at all to do this, what I'm doing right now, because I'm just procrastinating and holding people on for some reason. And you don't have to do videos you don't have to be good at either. Just look at some of my creations. Just keep acting. Bye, Happy New Year. Thanks, everyone. Just stop moving. Okay, I'll try that. No, I wouldn't. Give a tour of the office, please. I could do, but my camera is attached, so it's a bit stuck. Why am I still looking at this? I clicked not yet now to end the stream. How come I'm holding up 130 people now? I should really be feeling guilty. You should be working on something like important instead, like your game or modeling or something. So when concurrent viewers go down to 0, I'll click end the stream. How about that? Room tour video, yeah. I can... No, I can't. It's too attached, too fixed. All right, this is... Have you ever tried to code an inventory? I'm trying that in Godot right now, and it's super hard. I've never tried to do a full inventory, but I understand that it's a tricky topic. That doesn't help anyone at all. So my short answer is no, I haven't really tried to create one. How long can we postpone stopping the stream? I don't know. 22 and a half hours to go then. An official 24-hour live stream just got started and never ended. No, I couldn't actually. Do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow morning? You probably don't, and you probably don't care, but at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, the swimming baths open for the general public here in somewhere I live. And for some reason, I'm going to go there with my family and kids at that time in the morning, at 5 a.m., and we're going to go for a swim, a family swim, because we're thinking that it's not going to be a lot of people there then. So we'll find out. Sounds weird. No, don't super chat to guilt, because then I'd feel like I'd have to extend this even further. Quick, everyone, tell your friends to join the chat. It's still 124 people. Oh, I was going to say Khalid, is that how you say it? What graphic card do you have? I've got a 2080 Ti in the current PC, but I've upgraded, so I'm going to get that rendering performance boosted now. I've gone for a new graphics card. Yeah, early birds. I usually I'm not even in bed by 5 o'clock. All right. I'm staying forever. How can the concurrent views go up on a video that's supposed to end? It's supposed to have ended 15 minutes ago, half an hour ago or something. Do a stream where you critique models people send you. Well, usually the models that people send me are better, but it's a pretty cool idea, actually. What are you upgrading to? I've gone full in now. I was waiting for the 3090s to go down in price, but they never did. So I saved up my money instead so I could buy one. So now I've got one. So I'm going to try it out. I can't really justify that price to get that extra boost, but I need to do a lot of rendering. Start a new channel. The Never Ender, yeah. I'll just permanently stream. We just got on YouTube after working. That's where it's still going up, yeah. So it's still going up, 129 concurrent. Come on, give it up. You could have used the last 5 minutes of trying to stop the stream to model something. Yeah, I know I could do that, but then it feels like I'm starting the stream again. All right, one last model then. So give me a suggestion. Let's see. One more low poly model thing. No, YouTube and Patreon is not my main income, no. It's I live in Sweden, so everything is really expensive here. But you couldn't sustain on that one. But I've been working on Line War for 2.5 years without pay, so I've been living off. So basically, I have been living off YouTube and Patreon during that time, and then I've had to do some freelancing, and then I had to save up some money before I got started, so I worked a lot before. So, but we need to release Line War now at some point. Okay, we got here a Dragon Boat. The first one was a boat. I'm going to pick a Viking Axe, a boombox, Smoking Pipe, Cube, Pingu, Castle. Oh, wow, a cube. Okay, Draco wants me to finish. Low poly Imphenzia. Don't even get me started on that one. You were on the 24-hour stream, the first one, where I showed my first attempt at doing that. Shark, Gorilla Crab. So many suggestions here. Let's see. I don't know why. I'm just going to pick something random. I'll point my finger. Boombox. Okay. Let's do it. Last thing. Shift A. Cube. Let's see. I should go back here. Get the hamburger back. Shift A, so a boombox it is. You will get the material, a scale 0, a gray boombox, scale Y, scale X, bring it up to there. It needs to be thinner. There we go. And I'm not going to use a reference image, so I'll just have to remember what my 80s boombox looked like, my own one that I used to have. And I'm debating, I don't... Actually, you know what I should do? I should model it in this direction and then just do auto mirror. Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong on my camera. Scale X, auto mirror, and then I only have to do one speaker here. And I'm on the wrong side even. So there we go. Shift D to duplicate and clipping off, so I can scale it down, clipping on. And another useful one, right click and subdivide, and then I'm doing low poly, of course. Circle from the loop tools add-on. Move it in, E to extrude. And then I'll do it with I to inset, I to inset again, move it back to there, on the green axis there. I to inset again, E to extrude, S to scale. We'll do this black. And then there was a thing in the middle here, wasn't it? So maybe I'll do Shift D to duplicate, scale Z. Clipping is on, that's good. E to extrude. Here's where the cassette went in, isn't it? So I to inset, E to extrude. Thanks for suggesting something quite squarey and simple, since I'm ending the stream. Then we have some buttons down here, don't we? So E to extrude. Oh, here's a good one as well. Don't do what I just did. Enable backface culling and make sure that you're not extruding stuff in the wrong direction. So when you extrude some things, if I do Shift E to duplicate, extrude it the wrong direction, if you have backface culling, you'll see that it's a bit broken like this. And it's important when you import it into game engines that you have the right faces out. You don't want to have the wrong face in. That sucks. Or the right face in. The wrong face should be in. So we'll create a few buttons here, maybe. Shift E to duplicate, E to extrude. And see there, that backface culling tells me, no, don't go that way. Go this way. L to select linked. G, some black buttons here. Shift D to duplicate, X, and then Shift R to repeat that last process. Pretty good. So there we go. And up here, usually I grab whatever face is the closest to where I'm going to be with the right shape. So I did Shift D on this one, and then E to extrude this one, make it flatter. And up here was the radio, the good old like radio dial thing. So I to inset this one, E to extrude, black. We'll do a handle, Shift D, and clipping off so I can scale it down to there. E to extrude, and here we could just E to extrude again. Clipping on again, because now when I extrude here, it'll just automatically connect in the center. So that's a basic boombox, I guess. I don't think it even fit. Oh, well, one thing is missing. I remember on my one, I think it was a slight indentation here. And then it had a white label on one of the sides. And when I got my boombox for a Christmas gift in maybe 1985 or something, when I was 10, they forgot a demo cassette in the actual boombox that I got from the store. And my sister got a same boombox, but without the demo cassette. So obviously, being such a nice person that I am, I tried to not rub it in her face that I actually got an extra gift compared to what she got. And that mine came with music that apparently went on loop the whole time. And it wasn't even any good tracks. But that was not the point. It came with music, my boombox. Very good. And hers didn't. So sometimes you're lucky. And I don't think she ever bothered too much about it. There we go. There's a boombox. Hope you like it. Let's see what the chat said. Oh, you can't, you can't even see it. All right, I'll show you what it looked like. Maybe I should have checked the chat meanwhile, actually. All right. Here we go. Mainstream. So I hope you enjoyed that little low poly modeling. Hope you like it. The most, the best modeling, the best low poly modeling video ever. I forgot to toggle the stream. That actually looks pretty good. So this was all planned. I downloaded this from Turbo Squid while I was chatting. No, I'm only joking. How did you do it? All right. I'll tell you what. Just since you're asking, let's just pretend that I did Shift-A, cube, scale everything. I'm going to do it again, no. I can't leave you like that. That would be terrible. 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 Ah, okay. So I did something like this. I'm going to look the stream now. It seems like I'm actually showing this now. Okay. So watch my face as I model a boombox for X amount of time. I'll still talk how I did it. Auto mirror. I did a mirror there. Let's see. This could be fun. Actually, did I hide the other one? Yeah. So I'm going to model another one now and see how similar it gets. Let's compare the two. And what I did here, as you might have heard but not seen, is that I went to here and I disabled clipping, Shift-D to duplicate that one. I'll do it a little bit faster now, because you've heard this before. So I right-clicked and did subdivide, and then I did circle from the add-on, the Loop Tools add-on that you should get. I did E to extrude, I to inset, and then I to inset again, and then I move this in to get the speaker shape. I to inset again, bring it in. Okay, I have to bring everything out now. First you bring it in, and then you bring it out. And it's hovering in air now, so I guess I didn't do this mistake on the last one. But I can show you this. You can hide that stuff. And then I'll bring this one into here. Thicker speaker, Alt-H to unhide. L to select the linked, bring it into there. And then I did E to extrude and S to scale this down. I colored this black. I'm just checking. Yeah, still streaming. That's good. And then I did a cassette thing here. I enabled clipping again, which I always forget. Scale. E to extrude. So here's where the cassette went in. I to inset. E to extrude. Made that black. I'm going to do it faster now. Shift-E to duplicate. E to extrude. And not downward or upwards, because that messed up the culling. Scale Z, bring that in, and then I created a button here, so I clicked on that one, scaled, brought it into there, E to extrude, colored it black, L to select the linked, G to move on the left there, and then Shift D, X, and then I pressed Shift R to duplicate that one to get all the buttons. Then up here, Shift D, duplicate, E to extrude. I should keep the 10-minute modeling speed now. I don't know why I didn't before. So I to inset, E to extrude, radio dial goes up here, Shift E to duplicate, off clipping, scale. This is the fast forwarded version now. E to extrude again, clipping back on, E to extrude, connect, back face, I to inset, move it down. I did I to inset again, move this in, and then Shift D, put a white label on here, because this is where I started to ramble on about getting a cassette, which my sister didn't get, whereas I got music with mine, and I think that was pretty much it, actually. I like the other ones better, actually, the one that was before here. Let's see how similar they got. This one's a lot smaller. Let's shrink this one to see. Pretty similar. Not identical. All right, so there we go. There's 2 labels on it. All right, that's it. Shows people prefer. I missed all the chats now. People have been going on for a long time here. Oh yeah, you love the most basic tutorial I'll ever make. I wonder if I should make an even more basic one. People said that it was long, 2 hours. That is pretty long. Oh, aerials, okay. But mine broke after a while, I remember. I was fiddling around with it too much. Where was the aerial? I'm trying to remember now. Scale X, E to extrude, S to scale. Okay, this one, it didn't have 2 aerials anyway. So I'll do this. Mine had one of those things where you could like slide it out. That's the part that broke. But to separate that one, you'd have to either apply the mirror modifier, Control A, and then you can delete. Then I can delete the extra white label there too. L to select link, delete. And that label, L, delete. There we go. And the aerial cannot be this color, can it? And let's do a handle here as well. Control R, Control R. I don't have mirror modifier on anymore, so I to inset, Alt S. G, there we go. Got a little bit fancier there. Two stereo radio stations. Okay, I think that sums it up. Oh, someone's actually sent... Oh, sorry for missing this. So Jathan K just super chatted me $20 before and said, thank you for your Unity tutorials. They have really helped me get started in game development. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you so much for that super chat. And I'm very happy that I'm able to help some people around to game dev and modeling. That's it. I'm going to finish now. I'm right on 2 minutes, so I'm click the end stream button now, and for this time I'm going to do it for real, and maybe I'll procrastinate even more next time in the next stream. We'll find out. So have a great Thursday, have a great week, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now. That's it for real now. End. I think. Thank you. You're welcome. That's it. I'm clicking it now. This is literally the button that clicks it, or the finger. Bye.